All right, let's move on to probably the biggest NHL news of the day from last night, carrying over this morning. Arizona Coyotes um, stadium vote has not passed. So just a little backstory context here. The Arizona Coyotes, once known as the Phoenix Coyotes, moved from Phoenix to Glendale. Problem was the Arizona, and they renamed to Arizona, and Arizona were not a good team. So the problem was they didn't generate enough revenue, and there's reports out there that they couldn't afford to pay the rent, and they didn't pay the rent, and Glendale essentially kicked them out. And come this year, that they were gonna play in Tempe, but the problem was they had to get the vote to pass. So in the meantime, they're playing in Arizona State University. They named it Mullet Arena. It's only a 3,000 cap arena, so it's pretty funny seeing NHL players play it in, like, a junior rink or whatever. But and their hopes were to get the vote passed. So in, I think, 3 years' time, that they'll get this 2 billion sports complex built in Tempe, and Arizona stays. That vote didn't pass. They have no home as of other than the 2 years they have remaining in Arizona. I've been or in sorry ASU. I've been saying that they need to relocate, but before we get into that topic, I was listening to Halford and Bruff this morning, and they brought in the local reporter, and you could hear it in his voice that he was emotional, because he grew up a hockey guy. He wanted to cover hockey, and he's a local. I think he's a local beat reporter, but he was covering the Coyotes, and there's and he feels defeated that they are going to relocate or sell and relocate, um, and that's where I feel bad, because they are diehard fans. At the end of the day, yeah, it's not the biggest market there. The Cardinals are ahead of them. The Suns are ahead of them, right? The Diamondbacks are ahead of them. But they are still diehard fans in hockey there. You obviously have legend and Shane Doan, who played there their whole career. So it sucks for the fan base. It sucks for the beat reporters. Hopefully those reporters do get a new job. But I've been saying that they should relocate. I don't know what Gary Bettman is seeing there. It's been a shit show from, like, I don't know how long now. And the funny story is, they had once upon a time they had Gretzky as their coach. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you think they should relocate at this point, or do you think they should work out another tenancy deal?
I mean, first of all, yeah, it just sucks for the people who actually really support the team, and sucks for the reporters because like they potentially might lose their job,
Yeah,
and like that they've been enjoying as well. So like I really do feel for them, but yeah, I mean at the end of the day, like a relocation has to happen, right? At this point,
yeah,
like what can you do,
yeah.
right?
I
Like
mean, no one's going to the games. Clearly, they went to a 3,000 cap arena. Imagine if they do end up staying. Um, you're Adam Fantilli, and imagine if Coyotes got the second pick, and Adam Fantilli coming out of Michigan's like, what the hell? I'm playing in college arena again. Or even Bedard, like the biggest superstar, is going, but obviously it didn't work out like that. Um, so yeah, I think the Coyotes need to relocate at this point. It's better for hockey overall. It's been going back and forth. I don't know, like, can they work out a miracle? Sure, but clearly Glendale kicked them out. Phoenix didn't work out. Tempe didn't work out. I don't know about Scottsdale. I don't know how many other cities are there really
I don't know
in
any more
Arizona,
cities
but
in
I
Arizona.
only
Yeah,
have heard of Tempe through this story.
yeah,
Otherwise, I've heard of obviously Glendale and Scottsdale and stuff like that, and Phoenix obviously. But that being said, they're even listening to reports that they are most likely going to be as early as next season that they might be relocating. So the Score came up with an article. I also was listening to Greg Wyshynski on Halford and Bruff in the morning. There's 10 options. I threw one in myself. Would If you want to name certain relocations, there's some realistic ones. I'll tell you which ones are the realistic ones, and then there's some, like, dream ones.
all right. So I mean, what if we just like get them and put them in our Sun God ice rink, right?
Or you
Imagine
mean when or former mayor wanted a Surrey arena?
like how Doug McCallum wanted a Surrey was like sixty
Well, I'll
thousand.
tell you this much: they're not on this list.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Brenda, please don't, man. I don't want to pay
Yeah,
extra money.
that's
We're
fine.
already broke.
We're not political, so we're not going to go into that
Yeah, so
anymore.
like,
But
yeah.
yeah, there's some realistic options. I ranked it accordingly, but there's one Canadian team, two Canadian teams I've put on here. Sorry, cities I've put on here. But the rest are American.
I mean, what if we go like international, and what if we just
It's
change your
not
name
not
to
gonna happen.
change your name to
Not gonna
change your
happen.
name to Thunder and send him to Jalandhar, right?
Not
Right?
not happening.
Like
All
Jalandhar.
right.
For those who don't know, Jalandhar is a city in India. So like, what if we just send him to India?
No,
Get him.
we're good. We need them here for sure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. North of the U.S. or Canada, obviously.
Yeah. So, what do you think are there are some realistic ones? So let's just get started right away. Who do you think are some cities or states?
I mean, Quebec, right, was one.
Quebec is the one, but again, that's more of a long shot. People are saying, but they were the one Canadian team I had.
Was there like
Bring back the Nordiques essentially, but
wasn't there like a couple in Texas, like Austin,
not Austin,
or
but
is
the
it
other
Houston?
one. Houston.
Yeah.
Houston is the favorite right now.
Oh,
They might tell Fertitta, the owner of the Rockets. It depends on how he wants to run it. They're saying that Houston is definitely the favorite. Think of like cities around that area for sure that are the favorites.
around Houston.
Like not in Texas, but like in that like area.
Bro, I don't know the map of U.S. that
Like
well.
think of like the divisions of NBA and
Division,
NHL.
like, uh, I mean, I doubt anyone wants to go back. There's Atlanta option.
Yeah, that was like something I threw in there, but
Yeah.
I've heard reports it's just because of TNT offices. Obviously, Atlanta failed twice. I don't want them to see them come again.
Yeah.
It's only because the TNT offices
Yeah.
are now because the deal there.
What else is there?
So I'll quickly run through it then. Salt Lake in Utah was
Yeah.
another one. They only have the Jazz, so it's a good spot there, most
And
likely.
they have an MLS team too. I believe,
Yeah.
right?
Kansas City was another one that they were saying. And then the rest are, I think those are the three favorites. One long shot is definitely they contact the new owner of the Phoenix Suns and be a tenant, or hopefully, I don't think Ishbia is going to buy them, but contact Ishbia to maybe come back to Phoenix. I think it's a long shot. A couple of names that people threw out. Portland. It will be, I don't think it's a good area. Maybe it is, but definitely that Pacific Northwest rivalry will pick up like how the Cascadia and the MLS is. Sacramento, I don't think that's a great spot. Milwaukee, that's one. So that's Green Bay and the
Just get
Bucks.
Giannis to join us. The coach.
And you're gonna hate this one, and I hate this one. Bring a second team to Toronto, and I don't want that.
What? Why?
That was a fun option to score put in, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Obviously,
No
just
way.
because you know how you have two New York teams and like LA teams and
It's
stuff.
like we already hate one Toronto team. You don't make us hate
Exactly.
another.
Yeah,
Right?
no. Maybe they pin them against each other, but yeah. No, so these are the 10 options. I think the realistic ones they're saying are Houston and Salt Lake. Kansas City was also there. So these are where if you were to move them, real out of these options, which one do you think is the best hockey market in your opinion?
I would. I mean, of course, I wouldn't say Kansas City, but I would like Utah personally.
Same. I
Yeah.
was thinking Utah because Kansas City has the Chiefs.
Yeah, right. That's why.
Jazz are good, but they aren't like anything special at the moment. And who knows?
And like Kansas City's Missouri, right? So like St. Louis, Missouri. So they already have a team in that state. So like,
True.
so that's why I'll probably go with Salt Lake.
I definitely want to see Quebec.
Of course, yeah.
Make it 8 teams Canadian. I'm not saying put them in a division. You have 4 and 4 in the East Coast and 4 in the West Coast. Obviously, I'm sure you could realign, move the most Western, Eastern Conference team over to the Central Division, and yeah, call it a day. But I would prefer Quebec. But
Yeah,
I think the most
Quebec's for
realistic
sure.
one could be Salt Lake is the best spot for me.
Yeah, of course, as Canadians, we want Quebec. I mean, just because why not? And then, yeah, realistically, I think it's Salt Lake. And then I would say second is either Kansas City or Houston, in my opinion.
Yeah. Houston and Texas is definitely a big one just because of the taxes.